Welcome to Building Business Relationships. I'm Matt Stone, and before we officially launch, we're exploring what matters most when it comes to relationships in business and life. These early episodes are about testing ideas, learning from guests, and hearing what you think belongs in the conversation. Remember, the podcast launches in 2026, but before then, we're going to have a lot of great pre-launch conversations. This is one of them. So please listen in, share your thoughts, and together, let's help shape what this becomes so it can be both entertaining and useful to you. Today, I'm talking with Stefaan van Hooydonk. He's one of the world's leading voices on workplace curiosity. He's the author of two fantastic books, The Workplace Curiosity Manifesto, and his most recent book, which I have right here, called Curiosity, the Secret Ingredient for Success in Personal and Professional Growth. Before founding the Global Curiosity Institute, Stefaan served as Chief Learning Officer for companies like Royal Philips, Cognizant, and Saudi Aramco, to name a few. These days, he's helping leaders and teams build their curiosity muscles, turning them into a real competitive edge in times of change. And I'm also honored to call Stefaan a friend. So thanks for taking a few minutes to talk to me, Stefaan.
Thanks, Matt. It's lovely to be here with you again.
It always is. I'm absolutely delighted. Let's just go back. Looking back, what's a business relationship that really changed maybe the trajectory of your career or had a big impact on your career and your life?
I've been thinking the entire day about this question, and I have a lot of people who've kind of helped me along the way. Probably the biggest one was really early on in my career when I was studying in Paris, and I met the head of ING Bank. He was the uncle of a friend, and we got to know each other. I was just studying Chinese at the time, and he had been working in Hong Kong, and he was now in Paris being the chief there, and he kind of stuck out his neck to get me an internship in his company. And it didn't work out, so he contacted a business relationship of him, a consulting company in Hong Kong, and he went over and above to get me an internship in Hong Kong. And that was so remarkable, such a role model for me, that since then I've been also trying to kind of pay back to all interns that come to me. I every time say, yes, I'm going to help you. And I'll design something, and because it was such an important thing for me, because he launched my career really.
Wow. Do you remember what you felt when he did that? What was the aha moment for you? How did it shift your thinking at the time?
I think the moment when he invited me to his really fancy office, he got this 19th century full of chandeliers, and he invited me as this young student who hardly had a suit to come to his office, and he apologized, and he said, I couldn't get you an internship at ING Bank Hong Kong, but you know what, I'm going to help you. And I probably didn't realize it at the time, because I was in awe of this kind of important person sitting in front of me. But later on, I realized how big a stretch it would. It was easy, but still he had to do it. He had to lean in. He could have said, sorry, next. But he says, no, I'm going to help you. And I just wish more people do that.
I've noticed there's sort of an arc to a career and a life, and there's certain people who they get to a point of success and power and influence, and they're already making good money. The only thing left for them that's truly meaningful is knowing that they're helping someone else come up. And if you don't realize that and you keep chasing the money and power, which you already have a lot of, you're just not you're missing something, but maybe you don't know what it is. And I've just seen that I've seen people who get to great levels, and the ones who really are the most powerful to me are the ones who get that it's by giving it away that they get to appreciate what they have.
And that was maybe exactly the mindset that Jacques, the person I was talking about, that Jacques had. that I have enough. Now it's my payback time. Now I need to help next generation. Now I have it. I have the power to help other people, and I'm going to make good use of that power rather than just sticking to it and doing things all over again and not lean in. And that's important. Thanks for sharing.
Well, thank you. That's a beautiful story. I'm already thinking about people in my life that have had that that go the extra mile, and you at the time you think, why is this person doing this for me?
Mm,
And I guess the question is, why not do it for you?
mm,
Maybe you're worth it. So,
yeah.
look, you've written books on curiosity. You're doing curiosity talks. You're helping companies and leaders lean into curiosity. Talk about what relationship there is between relationships and curiosity from your work and your life and experience.
I think that's a great question. I think curiosity is the bridge between people because when we're genuinely curious about another person, we lean in, we're interested in person's experiences, their ideas, even their fears and their hopes. And that signals respect when we're in that zone. So we're listening not to respond, but to understand. We're listening not to fix, but to learn, to become a better version of ourselves and not to show off. I call that the difference between being interesting and interested. We're not trying to show off ourselves, but we're trying to be interesting. The opposite, the lack of curiosity, is blocking all this. Is somehow we're in a state of judgment, we're in a state of jumping to conclusions, we're in a state of blocking new ideas when they don't fit our way of looking at the world. I think the best collaborators and leaders in my research have been those people who create space between people and to keep that space open and to keep that space open long enough for people to join. And I think that's a great, it's an underrated skill yet or an underrated capability yet in organizations. But it's really the magic that makes relationships go, instead of being transactional, go transformational, really.
I was just sitting here visualizing the the reciprocal quality of a relationship, but also that it has this two-way quality of if I invest in the relationship for the relationship's sake, I'm more inclined to pay attention to you and be curious about
Mm,
you, which will then create more of a relationship and more learning. So it's interdependent. It's like if I'm too transactional in my relationship orientation, then I'm all about what I'm going to get, what I'm driving. You
mm,
know, we hear the business language
mm,
of I'm driving results.
mm.
But if I'm driving, what are you doing? You're just a prop. You're just a tool for
You,
me to use, and
yep, yep.
I'm not even using even a fraction of what you're capable of offering because I'm not even asking. Why do you think it's such an underutilized, underemphasized priority in business?
Well, I think companies are just starting to understand its importance. Many leaders I'm talking to, many leaders understand it and they want to run with it, but still, even more leaders think it's nice to have something that we might do when we have the time. And often we don't understand the value that curiosity has on decision making, on innovation, on inclusivity, in productivity, resilience, adaptability. So when I'm asking leaders, do you think curiosity is a good thing for an organization? 90% say yes. When I'm asking then the same leaders, how are you inviting curiosity into your team? Only 50% say, yes, I do. So it's a bit of a theory and practice. In theory, I say, yes, it's a great thing. In practice, I'd rather have some other team deal with it because I'm focused on efficiency. I don't have time for this. Or I'm too stressed. And so um, I think often we confuse curiosity for asking too many questions or chasing novelty. While in my view, real curiosity is not about the quantity of questions, it's about the quality of attention. How much am I allowing my own view to be changed by a new perspective? How much am I ready to stay with uncertainty? How much am I ready to say, I don't know? You know? Um, yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean it's like radical humility,
Hmm? Hmm?
right? I mean, even in your book, you talk about that the role of humility in cultivating curiosity and relationships. And I kind of see relationships as a method of developing, deepening, and maintaining your humility. Because if I have a relationship goal in addition to what other objective that I have to get done, but that the relationship is in and of itself a worthy objective, a better relationship,
Mm.
in addition to the other business objectives, then it requires me to practice more humility. That you might have something important to say, that maybe I don't have all the answers, that maybe I don't know everything.
And I think the ultimate question there, in my view, is what can I do to be a better dot dot dot, and you can kind of fill in the relationship there. What can I be to be a better partner, or a better boss, or a better subordinate, or a better neighbor for that matter? Um, and talking about radical humility, this is a question we often don't like to ask. What can I do to be a better intimate partner? What can I do to be a better father? Type of things, no? And if you're ready for that question, you're really into curiosity.
So listen, this is a short conversation, and if you're willing to come back when we launch the podcast and be a part of the show, the full length show, we're going to have in-depth conversations. We're going to have panel commentary and punditry and all of the rest. So it's going to be fun. I'd love to have you as part of that. But just for now, I guess the
Mm.
last question I wanted to ask you was, what is the perspective that leaders are missing the most in the workplace that would be the real game changer around curiosity and relationships that you wish you could
Well,
change?
I would love for organizations to start measuring curiosity as much as we measure performance and efficiency. That we measure not only what people do and what they know, but also how they activate what they don't know, and how they grow and how they learn. Wouldn't it be great to have performance discussions where some questions are like, how much did you learn from a subordinate? Or when is the last time that you changed your perspective on something really important? Or how much space are you creating in your team for exploration? And if you start doing that, if you start with those KPIs and with those questions, start embedding curiosity in your culture, in your processes, in how you hire people, how you promote people, it would lead to an innovation culture. Businesses will learn faster, will become more resilient, more adaptive, more open. And that's what I love to see more with companies, I think.
And what a good time to do it, especially with AI coming in. I mean, what are humans going to be for if not the uber creative process of collaborating around innovation with AI replacing so many processes? The thing I love about this topic that I want to pull the thread on so much more longer and in depth with you is this thing that keeps coming up as you're talking, which is, if I trust you, we will be more curious. I'm more curious about you if I know and trust you a little bit better. I'm more
Mm.
open to what you have to say. I'm not worried about you attacking me because we have trust. And so I'll be more curious. And if I'm more curious with you, I will build more trust with you. I guess that was the loop that I was thinking.
Yeah,
That the curiosity is sort
yeah.
of the energy and the driver of building the kind of relationship that you need to foster more curiosity, openness, and the kind of collaboration that you're talking about.
Yeah, and then if when you people do that, you suddenly have collective curiosity, which is so powerful.
Collective curiosity. I love that. That's a perfect place to end. We are going to dive into collective curiosity, not just the individual, but the collective for sure. Stefaan, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to tantalize us with a preview of what's to come.
It's been a pleasure, Matt. It's every time. You're such a great question host. Thank you.
My curiosity is piqued. And with that, thank you for listening or watching the Building Business Relationships. This pre-launch phase is all about discovery. So if something sparked your interest, I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts, ideas, or great suggestions and help us shape the conversations to come. And of course, subscribe so you'll be the very first to know when we officially launch. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.